Hello. Hi, this is Christine Crowell here. Welcome to the 5-week. This is the 5-week challenge for starting a medical staffing agency, for example. So I just want to welcome everyone. And I know some of you are coming on a bit later. You'll be able to watch the replay for those of you that are the members here. But I just want to say welcome and thank you for being here today. I really appreciate your time for being here. So let me get started. So welcome to, this is week 2 that we are pushing forward with of the 5-week challenge. And week 2 is about business planning, about developing your business so that you're able to understand what it is that you're going to be creating within this staffing industry. What type of business will you actually be? Now, I've got the business plan template and it will be in the actual 5-week challenge vault. So you'll be able to access the document, the Word document, but also the Excel sheet as well. I forgot what it was called then for a moment. So the business plan, it's so important that you see this as a template for your medical staffing agency. Now, what is it that needs to go into your medical staffing agency? And I really want you to really think about it and really plan things out properly so that you're fully aware of what things are going to cost and what type of business that you're going to do, medical staffing business, because at the end of the day, this has to resonate with you. It's got to feel good for you in order for you to move forward. Now, I'm not sure if my team are here with me and can hear me fine. I'm not quite sure, so I'm just going to send them a quick message just to check that they are online here with me. And I'm just going to send a message here. Apologies for this. So send a quick message. So for example, when you're looking at building your business plan, it's so essential to building a staffing business, for example. So the first thing you're going to start off with is your executive summary. And I'm going to see if I can share my document here because, you know, I'm doing a live here. So let's just check this out. I'm going to share my screen. Window, let's have a look here. Excellent. So I'm going to share this with you. Excellent. So you can see my screen here, and it is in the vault that you'll be able to have access to. I just want to just read through that for a moment. Bear with me a second. So as you can see here, this is the business plan template. So the first thing that you need to think about is that you need to think about your executive summary. And I'm showing you this so that when you get the document, you'll be able to make your notes as well. So I don't want you to think, what is this in the vault? So I want you to be able to see it as I'm talking to you and training you through this, because as business owners, you will need to be aware of business plan, because this is really first the fundamental steps that you need to be doing when you're starting a medical staffing business, for example. Now, it all depends what type that you're going to do. So first of all, what is your business name going to be? You got to think of your business name. Now, you want it to be relevant to your organization. You want it to be relevant to what it is that you do. What really is good is that your business name says what it is that you do. That usually is a good factor. Also, you've got to think about the location. Where are you going to run your business from? What is the location? And that's why having a business plan, you're creating a research, you know that there is a need in that location of where you want to operate. So that's important as well. You've also got to look at putting in your mission statement. This is so important. Oh, so I'm not visible. It's saying I'm not visible. Right, okay. Let me just stop sharing this for a moment. Stop sharing and see if I can see myself. So my camera did not like, my camera didn't actually like the document that I was sharing with you. Okay. Let me just see if they can see me now. Yeah, you can see me now. So the Word document that I was trying to share with you, obviously I wasn't able to share with you. So I'm going to just talk as I normally would do anyway. But you'll be able to access the Word document from the actual vault itself. Okay, so let's get busy with this. So we're going to look at, for example, I'm just going to stay with me. Doesn't like, I don't think it likes this YouTube streaming. So now I'm going to check my settings. I'm going to open it up. Because my computer seems to be, for some reason, freezing. It's very, very slow today. Not today, it's just happened just now. So bear with me, this is technical issues. Also got to look at what your business model is in terms of your explanation of how the agency is going to operate, the types of staffing that you're going to provide, and also the value of what you can offer to the organization that's going to use you. You got to also look at your market analysis. And from this will give you a better choice of what is needed in the market. So the market need, you then got to identify the demand, what type of demand is needed for your medical staffing services, who is your target market. You want to describe who they are. What are your core customer? Is it going to be hospitals? Is it going to be clinics? Is it going to be GPs? Is it going to be nursing homes, for example? What are your competition? Who are they? What are their names? How big are they? What are their strengths and what are their weaknesses that you can look at in order for you to gain the competitive advantage over them. Because a lot of people, they see someone, they think, oh, they're doing really well. And then they copy them. But actually, there's a stronger need, especially now. They're still dealing with the old stuff, okay? You got a chance to come in here fresh, and just meet the demand that is now and in the future. You don't want to look at what the older ones are doing. Yes, it's okay to do that, but what is the current need now? Because as we know, there's a lot of changes that's happened. So you need to be aware of that when you're doing your marketing for your organization. So who are you going to approach? How will the business attract, retain clients, for example? Will you do online marketing, partnerships? Find out if there's funding in your location as well. Just drink my tea. Because that you will find that, especially if you do innovative things, you can actually get funding for this as well. Okay. So what is your operations plan? What are your daily operations? You want to detail your operational workflow, and we're going to cover this in another training. And this means is that you're going to list all of the things that you're going to do within your medical staffing agency, for example. And this is going to become your operations, like software. What things do you need in order for you to function and operate within your business? There's staff, obviously, there's hosting, there's software, for example, there's insurance, uniforms. All of these things is going to be operation, quality assurance, licensing, regulations, for example. All of these things you need to think about for your operations within your staffing agency, for example. So are you going to have a physical office, or are you going to have a virtual office? That's another thing that you need to look at with when you're doing your planning, because this is a framework that you're building to create your business plan. So what technologies will you use? You need to check that out. See what technology, what software is out there at the moment for you to then be able to see what is best for you and that's going to work well with you and your organization. You also need to think about with this software so that you're able to have systems for your staffing, i.e. scheduling, rotas, your communication, your timesheets. All of these things really matter. Your compliance, all of these things is what you need to have for your medical staffing when you're building your business plan. Okay. And this is what today is about you building your business plan development. So who's going to be the management within the organization, and what type of organization are you going to be? Who are the management team going to be? What are their profiles? Who are the founding team members? What are the key management roles, or possibly in the future? You can list all of these things now, even though you're not implementing it right now. This could be your 5-year goal, for example. Usually business plans are between 3 to 5 years. So this is why I'm mentioning this to you. You got to dream big. You can't just think of how you are now. You got to look at the future and work your way backwards to get started. I hope that makes sense. So what is your vision beyond your vision? And build your business plan around your larger vision, the bigger picture, not where you are now today. Okay. So what are your staffing needs going to be? Is it going to be initially, is it going to be long-term plan, for example, to support the business operation? Will it be, are you going to provide temporary staff with permanent staff, or maybe you're going to combine the two? Will you have remote staff members, for example? And there's another training that I'm going to be doing when you're looking at taking on remote staff, because it's so important that we always are making sure that the work is being delivered, because otherwise it can put you into difficulty. And I'm just going to speak about here the financial plan for your organization. What is your startup cost? Because a lot of people, they see you running a business, they think that you've got millions and millions of pounds. Well, actually, you should be investing back in your business. You don't spend the money, you use it to pay for things for the business, for example. Okay, so you got to have that thought process in mind, that when you've got money coming into your business, you reinvest it back into your business. It's not something that you've got handy just like that. It's things that you're going to keep reinventing and putting back into your business, so that your business grows, so that you can grow with team members, so that you're paying your staff members, you're paying for all the additional things that you've got because your business is growing. So what are your initial startup costs? You want to detail the list of expenses that you're required to have just to begin with, just to start with. What will your revenue streams be? For example, give an explanation of how the business will make money, including what are your pricing strategies. So what prices are you going to charge? You've got your staff members, you've got your rates that you charge as a company just to keep things running and ticking over. So what will your revenue streams be? Will it be permanent, and will it be temporary placements, for example? Then you've got to look at your income, your expenses, your profitability. You've got taxes that you pay every month. Over the next 3 years, 3 to 5 years, you've got to think about what these things are, because it's not just about paying your staff members. You've also got bills that you've got to pay for the business as well. So what is your risk analysis? This is another thing that you need to put on your business plan. So you want to identify any potential risk, including market risk, any regulatory changes, any operational challenges. Because like I said, if you will see that if someone's not doing their job correctly, it will cause a bottleneck. It will cause a lot of things to go, you'll see things going wrong. So it's important that everything is running smoothly, because if it's not, then it will show up. And that's not good for your business, and it's not good for the client either. So it's important that you've got your operations intact. So you need to be able to identify any potential risk. I call them icebergs. So look out for those. And this is why your operation sheet, which we're going to do training on that, so that you're going to have a traffic light system, so that when you're having meetings, either with yourself or team members, you can see that something is not right, and you can spot it a lot quicker before it gets out of hand and becomes dangerous to the company. So look at any potential risk. What are the market risks? What regulatory changes that's happening? What are your operational challenges that you may be facing or could face? You got to look at the good side, and you got to look at the bad side. Nothing is 100% perfect. No one is. Okay. We're not robots. Thank God for that. Okay. So this is what we're going to be going through in this week 2 of the 5-week challenge. We're going to be doing a workshop for the sections. And what I want you all to do is to be able to break down each component of your business plan, And then you're going to create a group discussion in the private Facebook group. And feel free, because this is private, it's not going to be here like this stream. This YouTube stream is private, it's not public. So only those that have paid for the 5-week challenge will have access to this. So we've got the Facebook group, and I want to see you comment in Facebook to say, hey, I've done the business plan, I'm struggling with this. Oh, I managed to do this. It really opened my eyes. I want to hear conversations, okay? I don't want to hear crickets in the group. Otherwise, what's the point of having the group there if you're not communicating with one another and sharing your success stories, okay? So I want to see some group discussions from the group about their business plan and where you are. So we're going to look at your drafts, because I want you to show them to me as well. I want you to be able to deliver this. It is Monday. I want you to be able to deliver this by the end of the week. You can put it in the Facebook private group that you're in, the 5-week challenge only, not in the main Facebook group, but in the actual private paid 5-week challenge. Okay. So you'll be in a safe place to be able to share that information. I would like to see each of you do this if at all possible. Okay. So now what we're going to cover is we're going to cover the checklist and resource list to help you to have all the necessary components to be able to build your business plan. So I hope that you're going to find this helpful. And what I want to share with you is for you to be able to share, like I said, with the group. So now I'm going to go through the components of the business plan here. So blogs, agencies, for example. What is your business objectives? Is it what's your goal and what is your long-term goal? So your short-term goal could be that you're going to open up a location that is local to where you are, for example, but the long-term goal is that you're going to look at possibly within the 5 years to open up 4 offices, for example, or 4 locations, virtual locations. Then you want to be able to describe the founding team, give a brief introduction of the key team members. Who are the directors? Who are the key staff members? Maybe you've got management involved that will manage the day-to-day running of the business, for example, and you will oversee the manager. What is, like I said, what is your business description? You want to be able to have insight into the medical staffing industry. So you would give a description, what type of business that you're going to provide. Then you need to think about what is the business structure? What is the legal entity that you are establishing? So you'll need to register, for example, with government organization or a town, district, or company's house. Register your company, for example. Is it a limited company? Is it LLC? It depends where you are in the world. And secondly, in your business plan, what is your unique value proposition? What sets you apart from your competitors? Because this is also very important, because you've got to think about, why are you different? Why should people come to you? What's so special about you? Well, you're different. You're not the same as the other agencies. You're thinking about what is current now and what is current in the future. That's what you need to be working with. I'm not saying that you should do it now, but this is your 5-year plan, for example. So mention, for example, your vision statement, which is your long-term vision for your agency, for example. So then you need to think about your industry, your market analysis. What is your industry analysis? What are the current trends, the size and growth potential of the medical staffing market? Now, there's plenty of data out there at the moment for your organization, depending on where your location is. So I want you to do some research about that. And the reason why I want you to do research about that is because you would have shown evidence that you are aware of what's needed in the location and you're providing a service that meets that need. You're not just following Joe blogs, you're finding out for yourself. What do I mean by that? You speak with the hospitals, you speak with the community. For example, you speak with GPs, you speak with social services, for example. You will speak with GPs, you will speak with care homes, you will speak with other multidisciplinary teams, governmental teams, for example, that is relevant to charities, hospices, home care agencies. Speak with everyone. It doesn't matter if you feel that they're your competitor. You want to work in collaboration with everybody. We all have got things that we can offer that is going to be different from what your competitor is offering, because you want to be able to make it so it's going to be beneficial for all, that everyone's going to get a good outcome, for example. So who is your target market? Who are your clients? Is it hospitals? Is it clinics? Is it home care clients? For example, now what you need to do is a competitive analysis. Who are your key competitors and what are their strategies? Now go and check them out. Knock on the door. Introduce yourself. You can either introduce yourself as an inquiry that you want to know, in terms of that you would like to know about their services, about what they offer, or you can introduce yourself as an organization that you're going to work in partnership with them, not as a competitor, for example. So there's two ways that you can do your analysis, competitive analysis. Okay. Then what you need to do is your SWOT analysis. That is, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? We've all got them. We can't all be 100% perfect. And you just started out. So you could say, although we're a new business, I have been in this particular field for a number of years, or I've worked for this particular agency, for example, which gave me a good insight into how to run a medical staffing business, for example. Then you need to think about the services that you're going to offer. What type of staffing? Are you going to provide nurses, doctors, allied healthcare professionals, healthcare workers, support workers, for example, HCAs, healthcare assistants, for example? Will they specialize in any particular specialisms, complex care, for example, surgical wards, mental health? What type of specialisms will you provide in your medical staffing business, for example? Then you have to name your service delivery model. How will you provide the service to your clients? How is this going to be done? You're going to find the staff members, and then you're going to deliver the service to the individuals who need your delivery of service. So you need to make sure that the carers or the nurses, for example, or the GPs are qualified to deliver care at that level of care that you're saying that you're going to deliver. Whether you're doing mild, medium, high needs, you need to ensure that your staff members meet that need, for example. Okay? So do your market strategy and sales strategy. You want to build a marketing plan. What social media channels are you going to use? What tactics are you going to reach your audience? Maybe you may want to do free ads, but you've got to be free ads. You may want to do paid ads, but you've got to be careful of that. You don't want to start off with that straight away because that costs money. So try doing organic so that you get used to doing this and then build into paid ads. So what is your sales strategy? When you're doing marketing, it's not like, there's marketing, but there's also different types of marketing dependent on the healthcare specialisms that you're going to provide. It's not a generic type of marketing that a lot of marketers claim that they can do for a healthcare business, for example. So what is your sales strategy? So you want to approach securing contracts and placements. That's important. So then what you need to think about is your customer relationship management. So how will you manage your ongoing client relationship? Because that is important as well. Then you got to think about your operational plan. What is your operational workflow, recruitment, your vetting, placements, follow-up processes? All of this, you'll mention this in your business plan. Now, the next thing is your facilities and equipment. Like I said, is it physical or is it going to be a virtual office that you're going to have? I would recommend getting a virtual office rather than doing it from home, because if you want to contract with large organizations, then you need to think about having a virtual address as your business address rather than your home address, because they can see that as a conflict. So what technology will you be using? So do research to find out. We're going to go through some of that. I'm going to provide you with some links as well so that you can decide for yourself what type of software that you're going to use. I'm going to arrange for a software company to come in here and talk to you about software, which is absolutely amazing. Okay. This will help you with your operations and your management as well. And the price is very, very reasonable as well. So then you've got to then think about suppliers and partners. Who are you going to partner with? Who are your, who are the third parties that you're going to be working with, collaborating with strategically? Because it is all about as well collaboration. So the next part is management and organization. What is your organizational structure? I want you to do a diagram of the company structure. I want you to do a description of the company structure. So for example, you're the director. What is your name? You may have another director, you're both on the same level, you both have got the same equal shares. So then you would name that director, name, and the position. Then under that, you could have a management team, for example. So then you would list the management team and then their names, for example. Then you've got your deliverables, which is your field staff members, your contractors. Are they self-employed contractors or are they employed contracts? It depends what type of business you're going to do, for example. So draw a diagram, an organization chart, for example, of your organization with a description of your company structure. Who is at the head, for example? Who is management? What do they do? You've got your field staff, which could be nurses, healthcare workers, for example. What are the backgrounds of the management team? So you want to describe the management and the backgrounds and the roles of the management team members. Then you'll need to think about what are your staffing needs, the current and future staffing requirements. That is important. So like I said, try and think of things that's now as well as in the future. Okay, because sometimes, although it's good to look back, it's not always a good thing to start off with that. Try and see what's happening now and in the future. So the next thing is your financial plan. What are your startup costs going to be? You want to detail your initial expenses. What is your revenue model? What is your pricing strategy and your projected revenue going to be? So, for example, if you're a staffing agency, you want to say, okay, I'm going to do 500,000 for the first year. But how have you come to that figure? It's good to know what you want to make, but how have you come to that figure? So then what you've got to do is you've got to look at the pricing strategy, i.e. what you're paying your staff members and what charge you're putting on top per hour in order to get that 500,000 a year. Or are you going to place staff members permanently with an organization and you will charge 20%, for example, of the yearly turnover as a one-off fee? So, for example, if you place someone 35,000, for example, and you charge 20%, that's 7,000 a month. Then you want to times that by 12, but usually you should be, if you're doing it part-time, you can do permanent placement where you're placing people twice a month, for example, new staff members for an organization that they've signed up with you to provide them with staff members. Okay, so are you going to do both? And then you've got to break down what your revenue model is going to be. So it's important that you are viable and that you have the potential for success, because believe me, although you may be, when you get to the point of where you're hitting, multiple seven figures, sometimes you're going to be hit with something. And this is the key, is when you're hit with something, you're still able to manage and cope. Okay, because running a business is stressful. However, it's how you manage the stress levels, because every level has got a different stress level that you're going to have to face. Nothing is smooth sailing. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. Running a business is not smooth sailing. You could be hit with all types of blocks, but it's overcoming those blocks. That's when you truly are the winner, because you know how to overcome things. Quitters quit. Winners never quit, for example. Okay, so then you've got to think about what is your projected financial statement. What is your profit and loss cash flow? What is your balance sheet? What is your projection for 3 to 5 years from now? You want to ensure that you break even. So, for example, if you're running a staffing agency, you want to do the first year 500,000. Then you want to increase by 30% each year. It depends whether you're offering permanent or temporary. Now, the temporary is you're usually getting about 30% net profit, whereas with permanent placement, you can get like 85% net profit. So imagine running the two together, how strong that will make you. Then, like I said, you're going to increase year after year. You're not going to stay the same. You're going to keep increasing. So when do you expect to become profitable in your staffing business, medical staffing business? Well, really, you should become profitable within first year. Okay. You got to give it time. Whenever it's like when you cook something, it's not ready instantly. It's got to be cooked and it's got to be tender and juicy, for example, in order for you then to be able to enjoy and eat what you've made. And see this as you running this type of business in the same way. It's not going to come instant to you. And if it does come fast to you, then boy, watch out, because you need to be able to manage and cope with the fast train that is coming. Okay. So you want to ensure that you are adhering to any regulatory or legal considerations. What compliance are you facing with and having to adhere to in order to be able to run this type of business? What certifications are needed? What healthcare regulations is it that is controlling you running that business? You need to be aware of this and put it in your business plan. What insurance requirement types of insurance are needed? For example, employer's liability, public liability, professional indemnity. If you're in the UK, for example, then there's liability, workers' comp, etc. in the States, for example. So think about the insurance requirements and list all of this on your business plan. Okay. When you're doing a medical staffing agency, what risk management is there? You want to be able to identify any potential risk that is facing your business, i.e. maybe you're growing fast and you have got an overdraft, and that overdraft is now spent, but yet you've got staff wages to pay again the following week. So you can't dip into that overdraft until the invoice has been paid. So then you need to look at factoring, invoice finance, where the banks will lend you, say, 85% of the invoice that you've raised, so that weekly, so that you can keep paying weekly to your staff members, for example. But bear in mind, when you do this, you have to make sure that those invoices are paid, because if you get into a situation where the clients haven't paid your invoice, then that causes a block on your invoice finance. So then you can't draw out that money to pay staff wages because there's a block, there's an invoice that is 3 months old, for example. That creates a block. So if you've got invoices that are 3 months and more old, then that affects you when you're doing factoring, invoice finance, for example. So it's important that you keep up to, really chase your invoices, make calls, etc., and don't just rely on, just one source. Okay. Now you've got to think about the insurance requirements. So get a demo, find out what insurance that you need. And I will get an insurance person on here to talk about different insurances as well, so that you can hear from them rather than from me, for example. So what risk have you identified? What potential risk could you face in your business? I mentioned one of them just now about not factoring, just, having money in the bank, for example, because that money will go quickly because you are growing all the time. for example. So you want to ensure that you plan to address those risks and you mention them. Don't sugarcoat it, mention it, but mention how you're going to cope and deal with it. Okay. What supporting documents? Well, there's lots of things that you're going to need. There's contracts that you're going to need, legal documents, resumes. Now, you want to do market research studies and you want to do promotional materials. And I really want to mention to you that the template that I'm going to upload into your vault, into the 5-week challenge vault, it should be used based on your specific business needs, the market conditions, which we're going to go into further training on this. You want to focus your medical staffing agency. Each section should be thoroughly researched and written clearly to provide a comprehensive overview of your business to any potential investors, partners, stakeholders. Because bear in mind, if you do a really good business plan, then you could get funding for this. So isn't it well worth putting in the time and effort as well? So the instructions is that I want you to fill in the details. I want you to make notes. I want you to also populate the information put them into the data. You want to use them as a reference so that you gather this information and look at what specific figures, ideas, and marketing strategies or notes on the potential risk. So the tool that I've provided you with, you'll be able to access this and you'll be able to look at the Word document, but you'll also be able to look at the spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet is here to show you details. There's a tab that's details, as well as notes, and as well as accountability. Who's going to be accountable for each one of these sections? And what is the time frame for looking at this as well? So to do your business plan, usually takes probably about 2 weeks. Some people can do it in a week, but usually it takes about 2 weeks. Or even don't give yourself too long, because then you're going to just go into a month. Okay, so you want to be able to move forward with that. Okay, so does anyone have any questions here while I'm here? I'll just drink my water. So we've also got our boot camp next week, which is on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We've got our contracts boot camp next week. I'm not sure whether any of you that's here now is going to be attending the contracts boot camp, but we'd love if you would be able to attend. But you know, today is about you doing your business plan. And I want to see this in the group. I want to see your business plan because it will help me to help you to ensure that you're on the right track. Okay, so the business plan is going to be something really important for you to be able to do their business plan. So I'm going to ask a question. Who's going to do their business plan and put it in the group? I'm just going to put it here. You will get an email as well, but you will be able to watch this as well. You know, watch it several times if you have to, so that you can create your business plan for your organization. And I just wanted to put that in there. So I've just asked the question, who's going to put their business plan in the private Facebook group? I know some of you may not be on at the moment because you're probably just traveling back from work, for example, but you'll be able to watch the replay. But I want to be able to see your business plan because we've still got some more training to do. So let me know how you get on with your business plan so that I can best help you with this as well. Because at the end of the day, I think this is the most important part for you to learn about your business plan. What type of business you're going to run? What type of medical staffing agency are you going to do? Is it going to be a staffing agency? I'm also covering about transport as well. So I really want to see your business plan. I can't wait to see it in the group. I really can't. I'm going to ask the question as well because I'd love to be able to help you with your business plan. I'm going to send you the Word document, which is about your business plan. You can make that your business plan from the Word document that I send to you because the template's there already. But also I'm going to send the spreadsheet to you so that you can also make yourself accountable, giving yourself a time frame to complete it so that that way you've got both documents, and really the business plan should be ready in a week. So directors here, I'm asking you to complete your business plan and to get that ready for by the end of the week. And I would like to see it in the Facebook group. So I hope that you've enjoyed today's training, and thank you for being here for part 2, well, week 2 of the 5-week challenge, how to start a staffing agency. Have a wonderful evening. Stay blessed, everyone. And I look forward to the training next week. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.